Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, this has not happened in over a year, and only twice in the history of Bitcoin. Every single time this has ever happened to Bitcoin, it has led to a bear market and eventual crash on Bitcoin. In both instances, Bitcoin fell over 50% when this pattern played out. The market entered a period of new lows. People lost their life savings. There was anarchy in the streets.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
And then, a few months later, Bitcoin bounced and recovered and returned to normal, as it always does. But jokes aside, guys, this has actually only happened twice in the history of Bitcoin. December makes this 3 times. In this video, I'll be showing you the exact pattern that we're talking about here and what it predicts for Bitcoin. So if you guys are interested in that and you want to stay informed and kept up to date on the markets as always, I encourage you to continue watching this video so that you'll be in a position to continue making profitable investments and trades. If you guys do enjoy today's video, please remember to hit that like button. It really helps out the channel when you do that. And also, if you're new here, consider subscribing. We have daily cryptocurrency videos coming out for the rest of time. I don't think I'll ever stop doing it at this point. But without much further ado, guys, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Guys, of course, I was joking about the human sacrifice and the dogs and cats living together. There is absolutely no alternative universe where either of those things is okay. But it is true in this universe that every time this has happened to Bitcoin, Bitcoin has eventually fallen over 50%, and it's happened during a bear market. You guys have been wanting me to talk about this for quite some time, and guys, it's a monthly bearish MACD cross. Now, this is very important, and I'm going to show you why. I think by the end of this video, you're going to realize why people have been asking me to cover this. This does actually have major implications for the market, and it does predict something for Bitcoin that I want you guys to see. So please, don't click off the video. I think you're going to get a lot of value here. The first thing I want to do here is back up the claims that we made at the beginning of the video. 1, this has only ever happened twice in the history of Bitcoin, and that is absolutely true. There have only ever been 2 bearish MACD crosses on our favorite cryptocurrency. One was back here in the month of August 2014, and the next time that happened was over here in our more recent bear market in June of 2018. As you can see, guys, with our red histogram bar down here, Bitcoin has now crossed bearish on the monthly MACD chart, making that 3 times in the history of the cryptocurrency. We're on the BLX chart. This is the oldest chart of Bitcoin. There are no other crosses. The other claim we made is that when Bitcoin has a bearish MACD cross, eventually Bitcoin has over a 50% correction, and that is true because these bearish MACD crosses normally come between 4 to 6 months after the all-time high and after the bear market starts, and then about 4 to 6 months after the MACD cross, which happened right here in between June and July of 2018, Bitcoin would eventually have a 52% fall all the way down to $3,000. Furthermore, looking back a little bit farther in time, after this MACD cross in August of 2014, Bitcoin would eventually fall 58% here in December of 2014. Now, you can say that those two things aren't correlated, and I agree there are a lot of other factors going into that, but from what we're going to be discussing in today's video, I think you're going to realize that bearish MACD crosses on the monthly chart are very important. There is certainly a pattern that looks like it's going to rhyme this time. One of the first things I want to bring to your attention is the fact that when these monthly MACD crosses happened, Bitcoin was sitting above the 20 monthly exponential moving average. This right here is a very important moving average on every single time frame. This technical indicator literally has its own video in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. It's the last video down here, and it's on the 20 EMA. This is a very, very important moving average on every time frame. The monthly is no exception. And what we see here, guys, is that when Bitcoin has these monthly MACD crosses, you can see back here in 2018, we were sitting above and getting support on the 20 monthly EMA. Same thing was true back over here in 2014. When Bitcoin had this bearish MACD cross, we were sitting above the 20 EMA. And guess where we're getting support right now, guys? Look at this. We're getting support immediately on the 20 monthly exponential moving average. Guys, when people say that technical analysis doesn't work, it just blows my mind because they obviously have no idea what they're talking about. This stuff looks like magic, but it's obviously really cool and very, very important. These patterns wouldn't be playing out for no reason otherwise. So what we see here is that just like the previous 2 times, Bitcoin is sitting on top of the 20 EMA, and we've just seen that bearish MACD cross. Furthermore, obviously since it's MACD, these crosses happen during a downtrend, a long-term downtrend in Bitcoin. A bear market. Over here, it was a bear market, and here it's been a very long correction. We're looking about 6 months since we hit that yearly high. One more thing I need to bring to your attention, guys, is this. Look at the monthly chart RSI. I've talked about this several times on the channel, but it hasn't been brought up in a little while. The monthly chart RSI has a very clear pattern that it follows. When you're in accumulation phase, when you're in a bear market, after you've had that monthly chart MACD cross, Bitcoin will come down to the 43 to 44 level on the RSI. It's happened both times in the history of Bitcoin, and I don't see any reason that it shouldn't happen again, to be quite honest with you. But what you'll notice is that now that we've had this bearish MACD cross, Bitcoin is sitting at a very interesting level. It's sitting at the exact same level that Bitcoin was sitting at when we had those monthly MACD crosses. Right here. Look at this. That is the same level. We're looking at 53 where Bitcoin had the monthly MACD cross in 2018. And in 2014, Bitcoin was at the exact same level, 53. We're at that same level right now. After Bitcoin had that monthly chart MACD cross, check out what happened. We broke 53 and we pulled back about 10 RSI points down to 43 and we set a permanent bottom in there. Bitcoin has never gone below 43 on the monthly chart MACD. That's where we have our bounce. And I don't know about you guys, but this pullback that we've been in for the last 6 months does not look like a pullback in a bull market. It looks like a miniature bear market. And it looks like it's following a lot of the same patterns that Bitcoin would be following in a real bear market. I see no reason that Bitcoin shouldn't follow this one also, guys. You see why I'm more bearish on the long term. Bitcoin has proven to me that we should be bearish on the long term. There's many reasons for that. Guys, the longs are at an all-time high on Bitfinex. They're going to get liquidated. Shorts on other exchanges where it really matters, they are pretty high still. They're starting to flip long in the short term, but I don't know that that's going to last. The interest in Bitcoin is very, very low right now. If you go on Google Trends, then you're going to see that. The interest in Bitcoin is basically at an all-time low. We're sitting down here around 24 to 29. That's basically the lowest that Bitcoin's interest has been in a very long time. We're talking years. The volume on Bitcoin is remarkably low. As you can see, it's been tapering off for the last 2 years, and especially over the last 6 months. We've been on a steady downtrend in volume. That means there's less institutions investing in Bitcoin, and that means there's less money and liquidity in the market to drive Bitcoin to the upside. Because of that, guys, the trend has been bearish. We've been pushing to the downside because Bitcoin got overextended earlier on this year. We see a lot of these upper wicks up here where Bitcoin was trying to push up and trying to rally, and it just failed time and time again. Bitcoin is in a prime opportunity to follow through on that exact pattern that we've seen play out twice now, where Bitcoin has a bearish monthly MACD cross, falls below 53 on the RSI, and falls down to 43 instead. And a lot of you guys were getting upset at me for being bearish in the last couple of videos, but now that I'm able to actually cover all the topics, do you guys see why I'm bearish? There's a very clear pattern. There's a very clear trend. And look, I realize markets don't always repeat, and in fact, they very rarely do, but they do oftentimes rhyme, and I think this is a prime example of where that's going to happen. So what does that mean, Jeb? That's all just a bunch of words. What does that actually mean? What are action steps that we can take, and where is Bitcoin going from here? Well, guys, to me, it's very simple. Bitcoin has had the monthly MACD cross. Bitcoin is going to fall, and Bitcoin is going to retrace its RSI down to 43 because of the price action on Bitcoin. Where does that leave Bitcoin? Well, guys, if you don't remember, a couple of videos ago over here, I was talking about a price prediction of $5,000 to $5,300 on Bitcoin. That number being based on the 200 weekly simple moving average right down here. It makes a lot of technical sense that Bitcoin would pull back down to that level, and if Bitcoin pulled back down to that level, guess what would happen to the monthly chart RSI, guys? It would pull back down to almost exactly 43. If you want to know where the bottom is in this market, it's not that hard to find. You just need to pay attention to the technicals that I've been talking about in this video and the last few videos. You want to know where Bitcoin's going to bounce? I don't think it's at $7,000 like a lot of people think it is. I think we're going to pull back down to that 200 weekly simple moving average, and Bitcoin is going to bounce there. You could also call that the 50 monthly simple moving average, since that's basically the same moving average. Bitcoin has gotten support on it twice, and that's currently sitting around $4,700. Bitcoin, as a result of this monthly MACD cross and as a result of all the patterns I've shown you in today's video, is going to have a pullback to around $5,000 to $5,300. $6,000 I don't think is going to hold, and based on the technicals, not based on my opinion, in this case not even based on my gut, based on the technicals and what the fundamentals are saying, I expect Bitcoin to pull back below $6,000. Now look, guys, these are long-term trends. You got to realize Bitcoin's been in a downtrend for 6 months. This is something that could take several months to play out. This might happen 6 months from now. So if Bitcoin bounces and rallies up to $8,500 in the next month, don't come crying to me and saying, Jeb, you were wrong. It takes time, guys. This could take 6 months. As you can see, when Bitcoin had this crossover here in June of 2018, we didn't have that 50% correction all the way down to our support for 6 months. Guys, I'm not here to make you happy. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm not here to spread FOMO and say, oh my gosh, guys, Bitcoin's gonna go to $1 billion and we're all gonna buy Lamborghinis and be popping champagne corks and have pretty girls dropping cherries in our mouths on the beaches of Maui. That's not why I'm here. The reason I'm here is to give you guys technical analysis so that you understand where the market is going, and there's a very clear argument to be made for bearishness on Bitcoin and for Bitcoin to have a correction in the next 6 months. But guys, you have to understand that it might not come in the next 2 or 3 months. This might happen in March. This might happen in April or June. Bitcoin could trade sideways here for the next 3 months. This is long-term analysis, and it needs to be treated as such. But guys, like I said in the beginning of the video, I don't want to leave you guys feeling bearish or sad or scared or fudding about the market, because I want you to understand something. After this bearish MACD crossover here, guys, guess what happened? Yeah, Bitcoin fell over 50%. We retraced like 70% from the all-time high. That's true. But then guess what Bitcoin did from there? Bitcoin rallied 12,000%. Bitcoin rallied 12,000%. Understand that people are happy when they get an 8% return in the stock market. To get an 11,000% return, even with compound interest, you would have to invest in the S&P 500 probably until longer than human civilization will exist. And that happened in the span of 3 years. Bitcoin is a very bullish market. There's a very bright future for the cryptocurrency, so please don't take what I'm saying here as doomsday prophecy on our favorite cryptocurrency. I don't think anything bad is going to happen to Bitcoin, but I do think that a bigger buying opportunity is coming, and Bitcoin is probably going to lose about 1,500 of the dollars that it is worth right now. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to say I was right or wrong for at least 6 months. By then, we'll see what happens. Until then, I'm going to reserve judgment and wait and see how this plays out. So guys, tell me in the comment section down below what you think of this analysis paired with the other videos that we've done, because there's a lot more analysis that goes into this. This is not just one theory on its own based on some things that we talked about on the chart. This is based on everything that we discussed in this video. We're talking fundamentals, news stories, adoption, a head and shoulders pattern. We're talking about bearish MACD crosses on several different time frames. We're talking about many different technical indicators crashing the market and pulling us to the downside. Guys, I'm not trying to be a perma bear. You guys know I'm very bullish when Bitcoin is actually bullish, but it's important that we be careful and we be ready for what is to come. So if you want my take on where Bitcoin is going, I'm looking between about $5,000 to $5,300, maybe even $5,500, depends on where that 200 weekly simple moving average is, because at the end of the day, that's actually what I'm predicting Bitcoin goes to. It's not even a dollar value, it's that moving average. Watch for Bitcoin to bounce around the 43 level on the monthly chart RSI, and that will be a great place to be putting in a long-term investment onto Bitcoin, in my opinion. That's not financial advice. Do your own research, of course. But anyway, guys, I hope you did enjoy that video. I hope you guys did get some value out of it, and I hope you guys see where I'm coming from. I'm not trying to scare you guys. A lot of people get upset when I start talking about bearish technicals and bearish scenarios because, frankly, they're tired of it, and I don't blame you. But guys, you have to understand that in technical analysis, in markets, in trading, and frankly, in the real world, sometimes things aren't going to go the way you want them to. And there are two things that you can do when you think that something isn't going to go the way you want it to. Either you can complain about it and whine about it and freak out about it, or you can prepare for it. If you disagree with me, then tell me in the comment section why you disagree with me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but maybe I am. But if you do agree with me and you just don't want to admit it because you don't want Bitcoin to go back below $6,500, I know there's some of you watching this video, you know this is a possibility and you know you need to prepare for it, then be ready for it, guys. Because as I've always said, and as I will continue to say, everything is an opportunity, even if that opportunity is in disguise. Even if it doesn't look like an opportunity, there are tons of them out there. Even if it doesn't look like an opportunity, there are, quite frankly, a lot of opportunities out there in the world. And every time that Bitcoin or a market crashes is a prime opportunity to be buying in so you can sell later. So guys, don't ever forget that mindset. You have to buy low to sell high, and you have to short high to cover low. The future for Bitcoin is very, very bright. I've never wavered from that, and I never will, because the evidence has never shown me anything but bullishness on the very long term. But with all that said, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. Before we do, though, I do want to remind you about the sale running on CT2A. There's 5 more days on this because this is going to be running through Christmas Day. If you guys want to learn everything you need to know about technical analysis so that you're able to spot trends like the ones that I just showed you and understand why these markets are moving the way that they are and predict how they're going to move in the future, I highly encourage you guys to invest in your education, and CT2A is a great place to do that. The Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy has over 1,000 students now. There are 34 videos of high quality content in here teaching you everything from the basics of technical analysis all the way up through the far more advanced concepts that you're going to need in your trading and investing. There's 10 hours of content in here in an easily digestible, structured format so that you guys are able to get caught up to speed and build your education so that you're able to be profitable in these markets. Because guys, when you get started in these markets, you might not be making that much money, but believe me, there are people making millions in our Discord server because they know what they're doing. I can't ever guarantee you results, of course, but I can guarantee you that the ceiling for what's possible in the cryptocurrency space is ridiculously high. So make sure you're not wasting an opportunity, because in 10 years, Bitcoin might not be as volatile as it is right now. We're still on the ground floor of something special, and I want you guys to make the most of it, and your education is very important. The link for that is down below. And of course, guys, if you want to join our private community, the first cohort is down there as well. If you're already a member of CT2A, I will give you the first $25 that you spend on first cohort back to you in the form of a Bitcoin rebate. You can find both links down below. We're going to be starting the Coffee and Crypto morning live streams at the first cohort on January 4th, I believe. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. If you did enjoy today's video and you do think that I shed light on something that you found interesting, please consider hitting that like button. It really helps out the channel when you do that. Also, make sure to leave a comment. I want to get a conversation going on this video in particular because I'm really interested to hear what you guys think about this theory here. And of course, guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 30,000 subs by the end of the year, and I'd love to see you join us. But anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.